Imagine every hour of the day having this infernal noise in your ears, a sound as annoying as a car alarm or barking dog, never going away, intruding on everything. Well, for thousands of Australians, this curse of constant noise is something that will torment them to the grave. They have a condition called tinnitus, caused either by prolonged exposure to loud sounds or an accident or infection. Particularly at risk are young people, doing what young people like to do, listening to rock music very loud. It's Saturday night, and Sydney band Deaf Effects is living up to its name. For some, the noise will continue long after the show is over.
I hear it in the base of my neck. I hear it behind my ears. I hear it in my temples. It is a brittle, sharp, revolting ring.
For lead singer Fiona Horne, 13 years of pumping out high-voltage rock and roll has left her with severe tinnitus.
Like a... That's my best interview. But it's like that. All night, yeah.
A lot of us have had that ringing in the ears. Many of Fiona's fans would feel the night was incomplete unless the music was loud enough to rattle the rib cage. But most of us only get temporary tinnitus that goes away in a few days. Fiona has been in real pain for 5 years.
I mean, I broke down in tears on stage once. That no one noticed, but they thought it was part of the act. But no, I was in pain. I was like, I just thought I was going insane.
How painful is it?
Like a white hot needle going into your skull.
I'm just going to play a couple of sounds, and I'd like you to tell me if this is the kind of thing you hear inside your head.
That high one is my sound. It sounds like a mosquito. Most people are worried when they hear a mosquito, but I have them all the time around me.
Very high pitch, and it just drives you bananas. You can't sleep. It affects your concentration. You try and be normal. I mean, it's going now, and it gets on your nerves.
You can hear it even as we're talking?
Yes.
It's not just the rock and roll generation that suffers from tinnitus. An estimated 18% of us live with these strange sounds in the head.
It never runs out of fuel, that jet engine. Never. It goes all the time, day and night.
If just hearing these sounds sets your teeth on edge, imagine living with them 24 hours a day.
There's hissing cicadas and like a chainsaw type of thing on this one, and then the beeping, beep, beep, beep on this side.
Well, welcome everybody to our meeting. It's good to be together again, isn't it?
Tinnitus is a mysterious illness. Beryl Gaydall began this group to help fellow sufferers try to understand and cope with their condition. She says the causes are as varied as the sounds people hear.
Some people don't have any idea where their tinnitus comes from. They wake up in the morning and they think what's going on out in the street, and it happens to be in their own head. But in the main, tinnitus comes from ear infections, injuries, particularly to the head and neck, medications, a loud noise.
Can you pinpoint when you did this to your hearing and why it happened?
I would say it was an ongoing thing, starting from when I first started getting into bands, or being in bands when I was 17, playing guitar in a punk group and having my very loud guitar amp right behind me.
You had a pretty wild act in those early years.
Pardon?
You had a pretty wild act, so you're not hearing me.
Yeah, okay. You got me.
You had a... It's believed most people get tinnitus the way Fiona did, through damage to the highly sensitive inner ear. Sound travels through the ear canal to the snail-shaped cochlea. Here, tiny hair cells convert the sound to signals which are sent to the brain. If these hair cells are damaged by loud noise, infection or other causes, it can send confused signals upstairs. But this jet engine, is this plane flying through your brain every day, every hour of the day?
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It never stops.
Cliff Hunt is retired now, but when you see what he did for a living, it's hardly surprising he hears roaring engines. I must have driven you bloody mad being around this for years.
Sometimes, yes. Other times, perhaps you wouldn't listen to it. But when you sit down there to do a job, you've got a job to do, you've got to do it. And we didn't have earmuffs at the time, and, you know, they were never ever thought of.
It's very hard to find true peace and quiet in this modern world of ours. Out here in the bush, the loudest thing you'd be hearing is my voice, which is coming to you at about 65 decibels. Anything over 85 decibels has the potential to damage your hearing, and you'd be surprised just what level of noise most of us are living with. City traffic averages 85 decibels. A train, 90 dB. A jackhammer, 100 dB. Coal miners work in up to 120 dB. A jumbo jet reaches an ear-shattering 130 dB. And you can inflict just as much damage yourself, listening to loud music through headphones. Even an album a day at the wrong level can do you in. Fiona and the boys can work themselves up to a near-deaf experience, even at practice. The only way she can put up with this volume of sound is by wearing special earplugs, but the others are happy to cop an earful.
Oh, that was great. That's what gives you tinnitus, okay? That's what gives you tinnitus. Bloody hell.
Dave, you're not wearing earplugs?
No, I just can't handle not hearing guitar sounds because they occupy those frequencies that earplugs block out, so I don't wear them myself.
Do you have much ringing in your ears after a concert?
Yeah, I have a little bit. But, and especially working, when you're working 15 hours a day on things, yeah, I have a fair bit.
I'd liken it to someone who smokes cigarettes, knows that it's ultimately going to do them a lot of damage, yet continues to smoke because they enjoy it. I have that problem with loud music. I just enjoy it too much.
I just feel like I've been robbed. My life has been robbed of precious silence. It's been robbed of fun, leisure. It's just been completely changed. Our life has just changed, hasn't it?
Does this noise start to push you right over the edge?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I have attempted to want to end my life, yes.
Margaret Loveday's tinnitus came not from a loud work environment. The noises in her head began after getting whiplash in a car accident. For Margaret, tinnitus has robbed her of the joy of motherhood.
And I'll say it, when you've got tinnitus, it's hard to be able to have your own children. My husband and I would love to have that, but when you have irregular sleeping patterns and this noise going all the time, children crying, screaming, children's toys can drive you up the wall. And that's a very hard thing at my age when you feel clucky.
It's very hard to live with.
It is.
Very hard to live with.
Sure.
Never mind.
See, that's an area that we neglect. But I wish they just don't understand.
All you have to do there is just lie there and go to sleep if you'd like.
Research has found that stress plays a big part in tinnitus. The more you think about it, the worse it gets. In Britain, audiologist Catherine McKinney and her colleagues have introduced stress management to their treatment. They believe they can at last offer hope to tinnitus sufferers.
People have thought that if you make a sound louder than the tinnitus, people will no longer hear the tinnitus. In fact, tinnitus doesn't behave that way. But our treatment approach is to treat the person as a whole. We're not just treating the tinnitus, we're treating any coexisting anxiety or depression, we're treating any degree of hearing loss that there is. And I think that in fact our treatment is very positive and very different from other people's, in that what we're not trying to do is just blot out the sound with something else.
Do you believe that it's possible to get a complete cure for tinnitus?
Yes, I do. The sound might still be generated within the cochlea, but people are no longer aware of it, and that means that you don't hear it, and that's a cure for tinnitus.
For this patient, Dula Nicholson, the treatment has had remarkable results. Has the noise gone away completely since you've started this therapy?
No, the noise hasn't gone away completely, but I think my perceptions of the noise have changed. So I can only hear the noise now when I'm actually listening out for it. Now there is no fear attached to it, and I know that by relaxing, it will go away again.
How long does it take before you can completely get rid of this ringing in the ears?
It varies tremendously from person to person. We're saying at least 2 years here. There are people who have done much better than that in a short space of time, but we're looking at this as a long-term treatment.
Back in Australia, Fiona has begun to experiment with the British therapy. In the meantime, she, like all tinnitus sufferers, continues to yearn for that elusive sound of silence.
I'll never experience true silence again. Never, experience that complete, absolute, tranquil space that is soundless, no.
Fiona would like the generation that listens to her music to listen to her message while they can still hear it.
I'm a human being. I have this incredible body that can do all these amazing things. I sing, I hear, I look, I experience, I love, I hate, everything to do with life. And it really annoyed me that I damaged it in a big way. That really annoyed me. That's not my ears, by the way, that's the phone.